Hello everyone, here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. You've seen their faces all over your social media and the news. They are the survivors of the Parkland school shooting. But when it comes to talking about gun violence, are they speaking the truth? We verify.
And the Facebook data hoarding goes well beyond your news feed. They know who you've been texting and calling.
It can't get better than that. That's what Maine's all about.
They're getting a free wedding, but in exchange, they have to let you choose the dress, rings, and honeymoon.
This is News Center Now. If you are on social media, you cannot avoid the gun debate happening all over our news feeds, starting with the mass shooting in Parkland and continuing throughout the weekend's March for Our Lives. Gun control and the Second Amendment are on everybody's minds these days. Hello, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. The Marjory Stoneman Douglas shooting survivors took center stage at the rally in D.C. They are some of the most heavily scrutinized kids in America right now because they're talking about a subject that has so much misinformation out there.
Now, when they talk about the NRA and gun control, do they have their facts straight? We set out to verify.
To those politicians supported by the NRA that allow the continued slaughter of our children and our future, I say get your resumes ready.
Our source is David Hogg, a senior at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. He addressed hundreds of thousands of people at the March for Our Lives rally in Washington, D.C., the center of a nationwide movement. Let's verify his first claim.
First off, I'm going to start off by putting this price tag right here as a reminder for you guys to know how much Marco Rubio took for every student's life in Florida. $1.05.
His claim, which also appears on the March for Our Lives website, is that Florida Senator Marco Rubio has received $3,303,355 from the National Rifle Association. The March for Our Lives website claims there are 3,140,167 students. However, according to the latest report from the Florida Department of Education during the 2016-2017 school year, there were 3,185,317 students. This total is slightly higher than the number March for Our Lives uses. The NRA donation total we found comes from the Center for Responsive Politics, a campaign finance watchdog group. Using this information, the so-called price per student would be a little more than $1.03, pretty similar to Hogg's number. Let's verify another claim.
96 people die every day from guns in our country.
By our math, it's 99 firearm-related deaths per day, according to the latest numbers from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. However, that includes homicide and suicide. If you only look at homicides, it's 35 deaths per day. Suicide accounted for more than 60% of firearm injury deaths. So Hogg isn't wrong, but that number isn't the whole story. And we should also mention David Hogg was one of several students accused of being a crisis actor. This, as we've verified before, is false.
And internet trolls are having a field day with this picture of Emma Gonzalez, a survivor of the Parkland massacre and vocal gun control activist. This picture shows Gonzalez tearing apart the Constitution, but it's fake. It's taken from a Teen Vogue photo shoot. Gonzalez is actually ripping apart a shooting target surrounded by other young activists. The content director of Teen Vogue and the photographer who captured the original image both took to Twitter to prove that the Constitution picture is doctored.
And these are just a couple of the rumors or myths floating around on social media. So if there's anything you'd like us to verify or investigate further, remember, you can always email us at asknow@newscentermaine.com or comment right now on our Facebook live stream.
All right, so it wasn't exactly hazy, hot, and humid today, but it's trending in the right direction. At least it was a little toasty today, Keith.
Yeah, should we get the sunglasses out?
I was going to say the
out?
sun is really the key, right, guys? That's this time of the year, and we had a lot of that. High temperatures, yeah, nothing crazy. 44 in Wiscasset, 40 in Rockland, 42 in Lewiston, 44 in Freiburg. So actually a little bit below average, technically speaking, for this time of the year. But we did have a ton of sunshine. This is a loop through most of the day. You notice it starts off white. That's actually the snowpack, the sun reflecting off it back to the satellite, and that's why it looks like clouds, but actually it was pretty much cloudless across the entire state. And not just here, all the way back across all of New England, the eastern Great Lakes, down into the Carolinas. Nothing going on, and that means tomorrow will be a nice bright day as well. Actually just a little bit warmer than today and just as sunny through the first half of the day at least. Here's the sun to start off. By late afternoon and early evening we start to see some high thin clouds rolling on in. And then Wednesday's kind of a weird day. It's not bad, but it's cloudy and there'll be a few sprinkles and a few snowflakes popping up around with temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s. Guys, you may have noticed over the weekend this happened a lot. It snowed when it was around 40 degrees. We'll see that on Wednesday. And we'll talk about it tonight in Brain Drops, how that's even possible.
Oh, look at that. He's teasing ahead. All right. Thank you very much, sir. I don't know if you saw this, but this is really scary video for anybody who has a loved one serving on the police force.
Yeah, take a look at this. It was posted today by the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety. It shows how a state trooper was just seconds shy of a potentially deadly crash. Trooper Hansen pulled over a truck and was walking back to his cruiser after speaking with the driver. And then just 20 seconds later, a box truck zooms by, smashing into the side of the cruiser. According to the Bureau of Highway Safety, no one was hurt. However, the box truck driver admitted he was texting. The Bureau's Facebook post says this video is a warning. Slow down, move over, and just drive. According to a public safety spokesperson, this video is actually from November. And the offending driver was charged with distracted driving. A strong message there.
Golly, that is scary stuff. So after a long weekend flying over the White Mountains, it is time for the Royal Canadian Air Force to head north. But not without some Maine-made maple syrup, of course. The mayor of Auburn met with the helicopter pilots before they took off this morning. The helicopters were part of a military exercise, training service members for missions in mountainous environments.
That's awesome. They're bringing home some good souvenirs. Their families are going to be very happy about that. You know what I'd be happy about? A free wedding. The wedding of their dreams without the hefty price tag. We'll introduce you to the lucky couple and show you how you can help pick out the ring, dress, and honeymoon destination.
And the hits just keep on coming for Facebook as they reveal another piece of data they've been holding on to from Android users. More on the Facebook fallout up next on Social Stop. As if a breach of trust wasn't enough to tick off 50 million people, how about this? Facebook admits they've been keeping texting and calling logs for millions of people who use Android phones. Bad news bears. And now the Federal Trade Commission is investigating Facebook's privacy practices. Now the FTC says it'll look into the potential misuse of personal information. The Deputy Chief Privacy Officer at Facebook says they're strongly committed to protecting people's information and they appreciate the opportunity to answer questions from the FTC. News of this investigation sent Facebook shares down 5%, but they were already down 14% after the scandal broke. But there's even more fallout tonight. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley requests that Zuckerberg testify at a consumer data privacy hearing in 2 weeks. This is the third committee to do so. And the state of Illinois is the first to file a lawsuit against Facebook and the data mining company at the center of this debacle, Cambridge Analytica. Now, Illinois alleges there was a fraudulent scheme to harvest the data of millions of American voters, a scheme they say was allowed and encouraged by Facebook. The lawsuit paints Facebook not only as a social media company, but the largest data mining operation in existence. Now, as for the text and call logs, Facebook says or stresses they didn't sell that data. No texts or calls were recorded. The company doesn't know what you said, just that you talked to someone at whatever time. Now, in fact, they say it's not that it is an opt-in feature for people using Messenger or Facebook Lite on Android. So far, the public has gotten an apology in the form of full-page ads in several major newspapers and a CNN interview, as well as Facebook post, of course. But it'll be interesting to see, in my opinion, if Zuckerberg will be forced to step down or if he will voluntarily resign. And someone actually on my Facebook made a really good point. He's going to fight tooth and nail if it does come down to that, because that's essentially his baby. But I think somewhere the Winklevoss twins are kind of happy that this is blowing up in his face after all of these years. So
it is scary stuff, absolutely.
It is. But is this something that we all kind of knew that was coming as much as we didn't want to?
Well, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week. I mean, if you're voluntarily putting stuff out there, you have to at least have it in the back of your mind that somebody might possibly see it.
Do you have the permission to, or you give these apps and all these things permission to use this and that and the other thing, and you don't know what's in the fine print where you're like, okay, I want to take this quiz.
And even if you delete something you've posted, who knows who screen grabbed it and it's, you know, still out there.
Forever. Screenshots don't die.
Okay,
They don't.
Thank you. Anybody in the market for a new job? You guys both better say no. Now is here to help. From construction workers to virtual reality engineers, this Maine company needs your skills and expertise.
Also ahead, the month of March had a nor'easter a week, but are we finally breaking that pattern? Your full forecast is coming up. The Maine construction industry is struggling to find workers.
But today's work site isn't just for aspiring builders. If you want to design virtual reality, Clay Gordon will show you where to send your resume in this latest installment of Now Hiring.
Today we're in Portsmouth, New Hampshire with Consigli Construction.
This is the future home of a 600-spot parking garage in Portsmouth.
We're based in Portland, Maine area. Most of the work that we as our Portland office focuses on is actually in the state of Maine. A lot of the folks that are working on this project were right over the Maine border down in New Hampshire.
We are following this Maine crew as they are hammering in these piles into the ground. They are also pouring the concrete foundation. Consigli is one of many construction companies looking for skilled laborers. This is me, swinging a hammer. But this could be you.
Is it hard to find good skilled workers?
It's very hard right now. We've had a declining skilled trade worker population for the last 30 or 40 years. This is called a concrete grade beam, and this is called a pile cap. This pile cap is going to support a precast concrete structure that we've seen in the 3D modeling.
And the modeling uses virtual reality in Portland, where Consigli is also hiring engineers.
I'm helping to convey information, digital information received from design teams, and we can also answer and resolve conflicts prior to actually building what we build in the field.
You may have been removing the form from that pile cap right there.
Everything in gray will be done by the Maine crew. This VR model is sent to a superintendent in the field, accurately locating a specific position using a layout machine. This isn't the only project Consigli is working on. Using this technology, they can multitask at multiple sites. Here I am virtually teleporting, as they say, through a renovation at a building on Harvard's campus. Here is a new athletic facility at Colby College.
Are you willing to say that the construction industry in our state is kind of outgrowing the amount of skilled talent that you guys are seeing?
It certainly is. And I would even say that we see opportunities for people who want to live in Maine with skill sets that we could easily hire them tomorrow.
Consigli is now an employee-owned company, and they even offer a day off of work just for volunteering.
And for more information on how to apply for open positions at Consigli, visit our website or mobile app. Also, if you're hiring, send us the job so we can feature it on our show. Ask now at newscentermaine.com.
All right, we need to bring in this guy for this story because nobody loves stories about flat Earth more than Keith. Watch this.
Big fan.
Is the sun just like flattening the Earth with its power?
No, wait, hold on. We got a story here, Lindsay.
Oh,
You're ready
gotcha.
to do the weather. Watch us.
Any second. Way!
So, Mike Hughes is trying to prove that the Earth is flat by launching himself into space to see for himself. Well, yesterday he finally climbed into the self-made steam rocket and counted down to liftoff. He shot into the sky over the Mojave Desert. He used 2 parachutes and came back to Earth.
He told the Associated Press that he will definitely feel the hard landing in a day or two. He was carried off in a stretcher, but the extent of his injuries unknown. The only problem is he only went 1,875 feet into the air. That's pretty high, but nowhere near enough to be able to see the Earth from space.
In fact, he actually could have had a better bird's eye view of the ground if he had just gone up to one of the world's tallest buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, not only the world's tallest buildings, but even more close to home. What if he just went to Sugarloaf Mountain, but not to the top of Sugarloaf Mountain, just up the Super Quad. That's 1,800 feet at elevation, because the actual elevation of Sugarloaf is 4,200 feet. Gives you an idea that it was totally pointless for this guy to launch himself. If he's going to do it, he's going to have to go higher than that. You know?
Hey, you know what though? He made the news.
He made the news.
Yeah.
He did not die, which is
He did not die, which is good, and he made the news.
There is no way this
debatable.
is going to clear up the flat Earth thing for flat Earthers. I don't believe.
Just happy to have
If he
you
comes
here.
down and says it's round, they're going to be like, they got to him. The deep state got to him. All right, beautiful day today. A lot of sunshine. Temperatures in the 30s, 38 in Portland right now, 44 in Wiscasset, which actually I think is the high temperature for the day here. Keep in mind sunlight obviously getting longer, so we're seeing the sun till around 7 o'clock. So we get these daytime highs a little bit later and later. And eventually by the summer it's 3 something or so you get your daytime highs. All right, nice and clear out there. You see the beginning, all the snowpack across Maine, still quite a bit of it, although along the immediate coastline we're almost down to nothing because of the sun angle and slightly warmer temperatures here. Quiet, high pressure in place. There's a coastal storm. We talked about it last week, how it was going to get blocked well to our south and east. And there it is, way to our south and east. No real impacts from that storm at all. If anything, just a little bit of onshore flow. But back to the west, a little disturbance that'll come through on Wednesday. Another beautiful day tomorrow. So if you like today, you'll love tomorrow. Sunny, temperatures in the mid-40s. By late afternoon, early evening, some clouds drive in from the west. And as I mentioned, Wednesday's a bit of a funky day because it's not bad, but it's cloudy and there's a few flakes flying around, and in between that you'll see a couple of rain showers as well. Nothing big or definitive, but temperatures in the 40s and a little bit messy there. And then Thursday, a couple of showers move in during the afternoon. And then Friday is an interesting day because if we can get this front out in time, we could get upper 50s here on Friday afternoon. So it's all about timing. If the front's too slow, it'll be raining. But if it's fast enough, it'll turn west, downslope, and warm up quite a bit. And as far as the weekend goes, we're not sure, honestly. The Euro was big on a storm just a couple of days ago for Saturday. Now it's dropped off it, so we'll go partly cloudy for both days, but we'll watch the weekend as it could change as we get a little bit closer. There's our potential on Friday, guys. I have us in the low 50s now. I don't want to get you all too excited, but there is a chance for an upside on that if we can get the front out in time. And as I mentioned, an unusually uncertain weekend. I don't think it's like we're going to have a blizzard or anything, but I'm not sure that we're not going to see some precip on Saturday or Sunday. We'll narrow that down probably tomorrow. And then some rain showers on Monday. Pattern doesn't look great until around April 10th, 11th, 12th, and then starting to turn more.
Can you believe you're already talking about April at this point?
Yeah,
this month just
starts on
I know,
Sunday.
we're getting there, but it's interesting because below average becomes less and less painful. And you know, we're below average right now. It's not a big deal. That's kind of how it looks into April too.
No rain on Sunday, please. At least not in the
Okay,
morning.
I'll take a
Gotta
look
get
at
out
it.
there for the Easter eggs.
Oh,
no
yeah, I forgot
melting my
about that.
chocolate.
Okay, sorry.
Just saying.
Thanks. Okay, well, this is not exactly breaking news, but the cost of a wedding is super expensive.
It really is. So according to wedding planner website The Knot, the
Which
average,
I told you about today.
Yes, you did. The average cost of getting married in 2017, just over $33,000. That price doesn't even count wedding rings or the honeymoon. They are staggering numbers, but one lucky engaged Maine couple does not have to worry about it.
There is nothing better than this. It's gorgeous.
Jackie Mode and Phil Carter took a tour of the Beachmere Resort in Ogunquit today for the very first time. It's where they'll be getting married in October, and it will be a wedding they do not have to pay anything for.
It can't get better than that. That's what Maine's all about.
The couple from Wells has been dating since high school, and after getting engaged on Christmas Eve, decided to enter the Real Maine Wedding of the Year contest.
And we want to tell you how our love story changed
when we moved to Maine and found the way life should be.
Because we've been together for 13 years and, you know, just the life that we have lived together, it's pretty incredible. And not everybody has that story. And I think my family was very excited about the opportunity, and just to be able to share that with everyone, I thought it was special to do.
The field was narrowed down to 3 finalists, and then yesterday, Jackie and Phil heard their names called as the winners. A 3-day, $100,000 wedding extravaganza. The public will have a say in almost all of the details, from dress to food to honeymoon location. Not having control of all the details is actually something they're looking forward to.
The thought of building a wedding from scratch was definitely a little scary.
Yeah.
So to be able to have the public get us there is fine by me for sure.
The winning votes were cast by both the public and the 26 main vendors who support this contest. Jackie and Phil were humbled to be chosen.
Maine is our home. It's where we knew we wanted to set down roots someday and really be a part of the community. And so it hit me hard. I felt like it was a great honor to win this.
Even though the wedding is still 7 months away, it's never too early to practice.
One dip.
Are you And you can follow Jackie and Phil's journey and cast your vote on all the wedding details by going to realmaineweddings.com.
All right, here's what's coming up tonight on News Center at 5:30. A rash of armed robberies in southern Maine has community members wondering what is going on. We will have the latest update from the police.
And Maine's youth is organizing yet again, this time to punish the Scarborough School Board for ousting a popular principal. News Center Maine at 5:30 is coming up next, but first, Brain Drops when we come back.
All right, today's Brain Drops is something that happened over the weekend and a lot of people asked me about. How can it snow when it's about 40 degrees? Because it happened a lot this weekend. This is not the most interesting graphic you'll ever see, but it's showing you the observations from Portland when it was 44 degrees. This is the dew point, so the measure of humidity, 40% humidity. Notice as it's snowing, temperatures are in the mid-30s. At one point, it was 39 and snowing in Portland, okay? And you'll notice the dew point has gone up. Well, why does this matter? The only way it can snow when it's that warm is if the snowflakes are evaporating on the way down. And when things evaporate, they cool the air, right? So that's how sweat works on your skin. You get water on there, it evaporates, that cools your skin. So that process is also happening in the atmosphere. Let's go to the picture here that I took of one of the snow squalls. This looks like summer, right?
Yeah, like
very
thunderstorm.
Convective, thundery looking. But underneath the cloud base, notice this darker area? This is actually the snowflakes going down and evaporating. So they're not reaching the ground at this point. What they're doing though is cooling the air, cooling the air. So this column of air is likely below freezing. So now the snowflakes all the way down to here, it's almost able to get to the ground before it actually melts. And if you looked closely, you could actually see some of the big snowflakes.
They were thick, yeah.
Big snowflakes, and right before they hit the ground, a lot of them gone, right? Because it's just too warm. There's an interesting calculator, only probably interesting to people like me. Check this out. This is a snow probability calculator. So basically, if it's dry, your surface temperature can be warmer because more evaporation is going to occur. So it can be 49 degrees, I hope this works, and the relative humidity is 5%, it will snow. It will snow at 49 degrees if it is that dry. Now, Rachel, I don't know if we have time to do this. If you can change the relative humidity over to 70%, let's see. All right, now hit submit that again. Now it's wet. It will snow in hell before it snows here. So it needs to be extremely dry if it's going to be that warm, but there are instances it could snow into the 40s.
I'm sure a lot of teachers who watch possibly pick up on these plans for their classrooms.
Yeah, they do.
All right, Keith, thanks so much. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.